Intimacy of touch with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. Touched with love, caring, and nurturing at physical, mental, and emotional levels. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, touch is not impulsive. It is intentional, steady, and dignified. You don't open your body or emotional space easily. For you, touch must mean something. It is a symbol of reliability, respect, and mutual growth. You don't seek touch that entertains. You seek touch that builds. You crave physical closeness that anchors commitment, not just passion. Uttara Ashada, ruled by the Vishvadevas, universal principles, and tied to the energy of Saturn and Sun, makes your emotional field structured, reliable, and quietly powerful. Your moon needs contact that carries weight, not heaviness, but substance. You want to be touched like someone means to stay, like they've thought it through, like they are capable of showing up again tomorrow. You are not always quick to initiate physical intimacy, but when you do, it's as a gesture of earned trust. You may prefer subtle, grounding gestures, a strong hand on the lower back, a consistent hug goodnight, or an arm around the shoulder in public. These touches feel like silent vows. They say, "I choose you," again and again, not out of impulse, but from depth and intention. When touch is rushed, careless, or erratic, your emotional body pulls away. Not because you're cold, but because your inner world requires consistency and clarity. You're highly attuned to the integrity behind the gesture. Even a passionate embrace will feel hollow if it comes from someone who won't stand beside you when things get hard. You give touch as a stabilizer. You're the one who places your hand on your partners when they doubt themselves. You initiate physical rituals that symbolize reliability. A kiss before parting, resting a hand on their heart during conflict. For you, touch is not a language of seduction. It is a language of leadership and loyalty. But if you're emotionally overburdened or feel that the emotional contract has been broken, you may become physically distant. You won't touch just to soothe tension. You need realignment first, and only then can your touch return as a gift of restored trust. To deepen intimacy, communicate clearly. I feel most at ease when touch is consistent, intentional, and grounded, not impulsive or unclear. Or, when you touch me with presence, I know I can relax. I know I'm not alone in the work of this relationship. And allow yourself to receive touch not just as duty or ritual, but as nurturing. Let someone cradle your strength. Let them touch the parts of you that carry everything for others. Let touch remind you that you are also allowed to be supported, not just relied upon. Because when touch becomes not performance, but partnership, when it carries responsibility and devotion, you with your Uttara Ashada moon find the intimacy you were born to hold. A love that endures, protects, and honors your depth without wavering. A presence that says, "I touch you not just because I desire you, but because I have chosen to stand beside you through every season." Intimacy of sensate with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. To be heard, seen, tasted, smelled at physical sensory levels. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, sensory intimacy is a matter of reverence and respect. You are not easily swayed by glamour or theatrics. You need to feel truth through the senses. A look must carry integrity. A voice must carry consistency. A presence must carry emotional clarity. You don't open to sensory pleasure unless your inner system deems it trustworthy. Ruled by the Vishvadevas, gods of righteousness, truth, and universal principles, your moon processes the world through a mature, grounded emotional lens. Even in the realm of sensory experience, you are seeking something aligned with higher values. You notice the meaning beneath every tone, texture, scent, and glance. If someone touches you but their energy is scattered, you will feel it. If they speak sweet words, but their eyes are distracted, you will sense the disconnect. For you, to be truly seen or heard is an act of spiritual affirmation. You want someone to perceive you as you are now, but also who you are striving to become. You want them to see the weight you carry, the quiet ambition you don't voice, the emotion you've refined into strength. You're most receptive to sensory connection that doesn't demand a performance, but honors what is already sacred in you. You respond deeply to honest and minimalistic sensuality. You don't need dramatic gestures, just presence. The sound of your partner's voice when they mean every word. The calm strength in their body language. The warmth of their skin during quiet moments. These experiences settle your emotional field and invite you to trust. When you give sensory intimacy, it is with mindfulness. You speak carefully, listen deeply, and share your body and energy in ways that signal, "This matters to me. I'm not just here, I'm present." You may have a refined sense of touch, taste, and timing. When you cook, you do it with attention. When you offer affection, it is not rushed. You move like someone who respects what is sacred in another. But sensory chaos overwhelms you. If someone yells with no purpose, touches you unpredictably, or floods you with affection while lacking alignment, you close. You don't push back loudly. You withdraw inwardly, protecting the calm waters of your emotional integrity. To deepen intimacy, say, "I open most when the sensory space between us feels clean, grounded, and sincere." Or, if you want to reach me, show me presence. Let what I see, hear, and feel from you match what's true inside. And allow yourself to be moved by beauty that isn't logical. Let your partner's eyes soften you. Let a quiet embrace undo your armor. Let the scent of familiarity open your heart before your mind fully catches up. Because when sensory intimacy becomes not stimulation but soul recognition, your Uttara Ashada moon finds what it naturally longs for. A connection that awakens without overwhelming, that affirms without demanding, and that says through every glance and gesture, "I see the dignity in you. I'm not here to test it. I'm here to honor it." Intimacy of kindness with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. Approach should always be one of kindness and compassion, giving each other space to be individual and unique, yet caring and nurturing. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, kindness is not a nicety. It is a sacred value. You are drawn to care that is not sentimental but principled, rooted in integrity and consistency. Emotional loyalty means more to you than sweet words. You open to people who are there, not just in mood, but in responsibility. For you, kindness is action laced with honor. Ruled by the Vishvadevas, beings of truth, virtue, and cosmic law, Uttara Ashada carries a refined emotional nobility. Your moon doesn't seek affection for affection's sake. It wants to feel that your presence is respected, your time not wasted, your inner strength not overlooked. You give your love consciously, and you expect it to be received with the same care. True kindness for you doesn't look like pity or hand-holding. It looks like someone remembering what you said last week because they actually listened. It's someone standing beside you in your silence, not asking for more than you can give. It's a partner who doesn't panic when you're quiet, doesn't mock your ambition, and doesn't collapse the moment you falter. You're deeply loyal. And when you love, you show up with structure. You check in, plan ahead, offer help before it's asked for. Your kindness is solid, warm, and calm, like a dependable home others can return to. But you're not here to fix people. You're here to walk beside them as equals. When kindness becomes control, or when it's used to emotionally manipulate, you immediately sense it and quietly begin to retreat. What you long for is a partner who offers compassion without trying to rewire you. Someone who says, "Take your time," and means it. Someone who sees your capability, your composure, your pride, and still offers you softness, not because you're weak, but because they know even the strongest need to be held. To deepen this intimacy, speak clearly. Say, "Kindness, for me, is consistency. It's remembering I don't need to earn care. It's already been chosen." Or, "I feel safe when love honors who I am, not just how I feel in the moment." And allow yourself to receive gentleness even when you're not at your best. Let someone offer you tea after a long day. Let their words wrap around you when your inner world feels sharp. Let their softness meet your structure, not to dissolve it, but to remind you that you're safe even in stillness. Because when kindness becomes not a reaction, but a way of being, when it offers stability without suffocation, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it was quietly made for. A love that says, "I will care for you not because you're broken, but because I see your worth, and it's an honor to protect it." Intimacy of growth with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra, allowing each to grow at their own pace, yet being self-honoring, by allowing themselves to be loved and nurtured, even if it means with other partners. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, growth is not just welcome, it is expected. Your emotional body is aligned with long-term vision, earned wisdom, and soul maturity. You don't fear evolution, you are rooted in it. But your growth doesn't happen through chaos or rebellion. It unfolds through responsibility, devotion, and inner alignment. And any intimacy that stifles that process will eventually lose your loyalty, not out of cruelty, but out of principle. Ruled by the Vishvadevas, guardians of cosmic truth, Uttara Ashada seeks progress that honors what is real and sustainable. You are not easily swayed by emotional drama or temporary highs. You are emotionally moved by clarity, integrity, and shared commitment to growth. For you, a relationship should feel like sacred architecture, always under construction, always refining towards something more whole. You give space when it's needed, but not as abandonment. You give space with intention. You want your partner to evolve, creatively, spiritually, emotionally, but you need that evolution to be named, not hidden. You need to trust that even if your paths diverge, your values will not disappear. You are not possessive, but you are principled. And if your partner's growth begins to erode the foundation of trust or transparency, you will eventually withdraw to preserve your emotional dignity. What nourishes you most is mutual respect for the growth process. When a partner can say, "This is what I'm becoming. Can you walk beside me?" you soften. When they let you change without guilt-tripping you, you stay open. Your emotional body thrives in environments where progress doesn't require permission, only presence and truth. You are also capable of honoring non-traditional relationship dynamics as long as they're built on accountability, emotional intelligence, and clarity of intent. You don't cling to forms, you cling to what feels clean, earned, and respectful. To deepen this intimacy, express your ethic clearly. Say, "I grow when I'm trusted to follow what's real for me. I need a love that believes in my evolution, not one that tries to slow it down." Or, if you're growing in a new direction, tell me, "I don't need certainty, I need truth." And allow yourself to be loved while still becoming. You don't have to wait until you're steady to be worthy of connection. Let someone witness your refinement. Let someone see you mid-rebuild. You don't have to finish your blueprint to deserve intimacy, because when growth becomes not threat, but shared devotion to becoming, when it's allowed to unfold at its own pace, with reverence and realness, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it was born to create. A love that says, "We don't have to grow the same way, but we do have to grow with truth. And I will honor your becoming, just as I hope you honor mine." Intimacy of activity with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. To be honoring of oneself and the other in what and with whom they want to participate in activities without force or compulsion. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, activity is never random. It is sacred intention in motion. You are not someone who fills time to avoid silence. You engage in what you believe in. And for you, shared activity is not about constant presence. It's about shared direction. You don't need to do everything together, but when you do, it must feel anchored in meaning, discipline, and respect. Ruled by the Vishvadevas, the guardians of truth, virtue, and constancy, your emotional field is attuned to purposeful engagement. You participate in life with a sense of quiet mastery, and you look for companions who are self-directed, not codependent. If a partner tries to force participation in an activity that feels emotionally misaligned or chaotic, your emotional body quietly shuts down. Not out of rebellion, but because your inner rhythm cannot tolerate energetic waste. What makes you feel closest to someone is not how often they're beside you. It's how consciously they share their energy when they are. Whether it's co-working in silence, planning the future over breakfast, or taking on responsibilities as a team, if the activity is grounded, it becomes an act of intimate building. You crave moments that create structure in the connection, not just passion or play, but quiet acts of shared stewardship. You offer this same respect in return. You don't pressure your partner to do what you're doing. You want them to have their own focus, their own aspirations. But what you do require is alignment in the emotional field. You're not hurt if they need time apart. You're hurt if their actions are thoughtless, scattered, or emotionally disconnected while still expecting your emotional availability. To deepen this form of intimacy, say, "I don't need constant closeness. I need chosen presence. Let's do what matters, not what's expected." Or, when you act with intention, "Even if I'm not involved, I still feel close to you." And allow yourself to explore unstructured presence too. Let go of the need for everything to be a milestone or a plan. Let someone sit beside you without needing to build or fix anything. Let rest be a ritual. Let shared quiet be enough. Because when activity becomes not obligation but conscious connection, when it respects independence while weaving meaningful union, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it was crafted for. A love that says, we don't need to move in unison. We only need to move with integrity and remember that we're still building this together. Intimacy of allowance with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra, to allow each to be who and what they are at any given moment, day or week of their life, knowing that one is not a master or slave of another. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, allowance is emotional respect in its highest form. You don't need your partner to agree with you at all times, but you do need them to honor your integrity. Even when your mood shifts, your path pivots, or your voice grows quiet. You carry a quiet strength rooted in values, and the deepest intimacy for you lies in being allowed to live those values without interference. Uttara Ashada, ruled by the Vishvadevas, the universal principles of truth, willpower, time, and leadership, makes your emotional self deeply self-regulated. You may not express every change in mood externally, but internally, your feelings are evolving in real time. Some days, you're full of conviction. Other days, you need to pause and reflect. What you most crave is a love that gives you room to adjust without being questioned. You are not volatile. You are consistent in your devotion, but not in your expression. You want a relationship that gives you space to pause, to retreat into your responsibilities, to shift focus without guilt. You want a partner who doesn't fear these fluctuations, but trusts that your heart remains loyal even when your energy turns inward. You extend the same courtesy to others. You don't demand emotional sameness. You value reliability, yes, but you also value growth, and that includes the occasional messiness of being human. What you don't tolerate is dishonesty, manipulation, or guilt-wrapped pressure to perform emotional availability when it's not real. For you, true allowance is not passive. It is attentive space holding. It's the ability to say, I see that you're elsewhere today, and I trust you to return when you're ready. You want to be with someone who gives you the grace to change form, shift tempo, and still remain respected as whole. To deepen this intimacy, speak clearly. Say, when I'm quiet, I'm recalibrating, not pulling away. What I need most is room, not rescue. Or I respect those who don't panic when I shift, but remain present without pushing. And allow yourself to be fully received, even when you're not on. Let someone stay near when your confidence dips. Let them offer steadiness without needing you to immediately match it. Let love be unconditional in rhythm, not just in theory, because when allowance becomes not emotional distance, but devotional patience, when your soul is met in all its postures, not just its polished ones, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it was divinely built for. A bond that says, you do not need to lead every day. You do not need to explain your inner shifts. You only need to be yourself, and I will stand beside you, steady and free. Intimacy of giving with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra, knowing and being that all love originates in the act of giving safety of space, nurturing and caring. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, giving is not an emotional outpouring. It is a sacred act of guardianship. You give not for praise, not for validation, but because your integrity demands it. You nurture like a builder reinforces a foundation, quietly, thoroughly, and with a long view. You give because you believe that real love is not occasional warmth, it's a daily structure of care. Uttara Ashada, ruled by the Vishvadevas, the gods of universal order, instills your emotional body with purposeful generosity. You are not casual with your energy. You do not scatter affection. You give with intention, and often without words. You give through your consistency, your problem-solving, your deep listening, and your ability to carry someone else's worries without flinching. Your love says, you can rely on me. I've got us. But you are not here to perform emotional labor endlessly. Your giving must be respected. If someone expects your strength without recognizing your humanity, your giving slows. Not out of punishment, but because your soul is wired to protect what is sacred, not sustain what is taken for granted. You give most freely in spaces where your care is seen, not consumed. Your style of nurturing is structured, almost ceremonial. You may not offer spontaneous affection as much as you offer reliability, foresight, and grounded support. You remember what matters to your partner. You make plans that include their dreams. You ask how they're really doing, even when they don't want to admit they need the question. But what you most need is to give from fullness, not depletion. When you're emotionally exhausted, you may become distant, not cold, but self-contained. That is your way of refilling your well before you offer again. Because for you, love is not sustainable unless it is given from alignment. To deepen this intimacy, say, "When I give, it's not from compulsion. It's because I've chosen you. My care is quiet, but it's deeply intentional." Or, "I give best when I feel the space to be human too, not just a source of strength." And allow yourself to give without perfection. You don't always have to be composed or prepared. Let yourself bring care even when you're tired. Let your affection be simple, messy, soft, not always strategic. Let your partner see that even your unpolished giving is still deeply meaningful. Because when giving becomes not duty, but devotion wrapped in steadiness, when it is respected as a conscious act, not an emotional reflex, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it is quietly built for. A love that says, "I give not to prove. I give because love deserves to be built on something that lasts. And I am willing to be the one who lays the stone again and again, with care, with honor, and with truth." Intimacy of receiving with moon in Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. Knowing and being that intimacy is an act of receiving with gratitude and originates in the inner feeling of being abundant in giving, receiving another at all levels, physical, emotional, and mental. With the moon in Uttara Ashada, receiving is not passive. It is a gesture of earned trust. You are so used to being the one who gives, who steadies, who plans, who protects, that letting someone offer you care feels almost unfamiliar. Yet deep down, your soul longs to be met with the same quiet devotion you give so freely. You don't need to be impressed. You need to be understood and held without being asked to prove you deserve it. This nakshatra, ruled by the Vishvadevas, gods of universal principles, instills in you an ethic of dignified strength. You carry yourself with self-reliance, emotional maturity, and quiet leadership. But to receive? That means allowing someone to see the parts of you that get tired, the parts that question, the parts that don't always have it figured out. And in this, receiving becomes a sacred surrender, not of power, but of pressure. You are most moved by care that arrives clean, uncomplicated, unforced, without strings. A thoughtful gesture, a consistent word of encouragement, a partner who anticipates your need for solitude and doesn't take it personally. These things land with depth. Not because they're grand, but because they're considered. You receive best when what's offered honors your emotional structure, not disrupts it. When you allow someone to give to you, truly, you receive them with depth, grace, and appreciation. You don't take love lightly. Even the smallest act, when authentic, stays with you. You carry it like a vow, like a mark of soul recognition. And your gratitude is quiet, but wholehearted. What blocks your ability to receive is hidden pressure, the feeling that you must remain strong, in control, or always capable. But strength, for you, is not in doing everything alone. It's in letting the right people help carry the emotional weight. It's in letting love be mutual, not managerial. To deepen this intimacy, say, "It's not always easy for me to receive, but when you give from presence, I take it in fully, even if I don't always show it right away." Or, "I'm learning to rest in love, not just build with it. That's how I know this is real." And allow yourself to receive without apologizing for it. Let your partner pour you a drink, run their fingers through your hair, listen to your doubts, hold your silences. Let their care remind you that you are already enough without earning it every moment. Because when receiving becomes not vulnerability, but a conscious opening to balance, your Uttara Ashada moon finds the intimacy it is quietly ready for. A love that says, you don't always have to be the one who holds it all. You are allowed to lean, to soften, to be gathered. And I will be here, not to fix, but to give, because I see how much you've already given.